Hello, and welcome to another session from Codeyai. This session, we're going to be mainly focusing on showing how you can start from the beginning and what options do you have on building a diagram, and also the options for sharing the project. So when we start, as we see in the screen right here, we have upload project, and this is you use it if you have an existing project that has Codeyai folder structure and you want to, for example, enhance the code, generate the unit test or Java docs or so on, or any of the options. That's it doesn't really need any more explanation. You upload the project and you click on the choice that you want, and then it will do the actions on the classes and the functions in that project. What we're gonna go through today is for the new project options. And here, if you click on the new project, you see that the first page that the form that shows is you have to select the project type. And we have here, so far we're supporting Java Maven project, Spring Boot project, Spring Web Flux project, and Java Vertex project. We are working on the C# right now, but for the sake of this video, we're not going to go through C#. So let's actually show you the Spring Boot project because it has more of components like service and controller, versus here there's only the Java components like the class interface, inner class, and so. So we are going to build a Spring Boot project. And here this is the part where, like in the project initializer, if you want to call it, you select the Spring Boot version, and you enter the metadata for your project. For example, it's called this Codeyai, and the artifact is demo, and project description, whatever you want to describe it, and whether you want to have a jar or war, and also the Java version that you're going to be working with. And finally, adding the dependency as you do in the initializer. You can probably write here with, and you can select it and it will be added to the list of dependencies. So this is one way that you do it. The other way, if you have created a project previously and you didn't delete it, you can reuse the project metadata and dependency. For example, if I click here, it will add this project. If I click here, it will add this project. If I click here, it will add this project. And this is actually the project that I created earlier, and I saved it here. So this is exactly what we need. Codeyai demo, and the Spring Boot version 3.4, and we can rename this to example, for example, and so on. I think you're allowed to only keep 5 or 6. I'm not sure, but there is a limited time here, limited number of projects that you can save the metadata for. So once it's done, it's going to give you a sign that tell you, that you exhausted the number of projects that you can save, and then you can either delete or you can say continue without saving, and so. So as we added dependency here, then finally we create the create project, which is going to take you to the diagram builder. And on the diagram builder, you can see here that the initial default class that's implemented is the application. You can rename the class by highlighting it and typing the name you want, for example, new name. And also you can have the like hover over the 3 dots next to the name of the class. You can have the signs here, the options here of adding annotation on the class level, or implement an interface for that class, or extend a class for that class, or finally import a class. And as you see here, import is empty as we have nothing created. But as you're writing the code, the way actually Codeyai handle the function call is by adding the class to the import statements. For example, let's actually add a class here, and we call it class name, and then we add a function called function name. And now we have here in the function description, we can write here, for example, class name, and it's going to give you the name suggestions. And so the only way that you can be sure that this is actually the right that this function is belonging to the class is by selecting it like that. So you're creating an object from it, and then equal new class name. So this creates an object, and then you say class name, and then you say the dot. It's going to show you the option of the functions existing in that class, and then you can select it. So this is the way that we handle the function call from one class to another class. With that being said, so let's actually continue on the available functions, on the available features on each component. As we show here, this is where on the class level, all the options that's available on the class level, and coming down to the member variable or the class variable level, you can add a member variable or class variable by clicking on the plus sign here, and you can delete it by putting the cursor on it and then click on the delete button next to it. Let's continue on showing the options of the class variable. So here on the class variable, you start by the annotation. So if you add an annotation to the variable, then you open it up, this editor, and then you click or you type the adds crops sign, and it's going to show you the option, for example, here, auto wired, and then you select it, or if it's not there, then you just purely type it, and then you click OK, then it will be added here as you see. And you see right next to it is the access modifier for that class variable, and you can choose between public, private, and default, and protected, and public static, and public static final. That's the option that you can select from, and everyone has its own icon here, or symbol. And you can change the class variable name by highlighting it and then typing new name, for example. So this is how you simply change the name in the member variable and the function and the class as well. And right next to it is the type of the member variable, and you can select between float, int, long, double, string, boolean, and this is the primitive types. And if you have a class type that you want, then you can highlight the type, and then, for example, class long, then you can type long, and this is will make the variable as a long type. You can add multiples, so it just doesn't have, like, you cannot choose the same name twice. That's normally understood. Similarly, on the function level, you have the add, where you can add the annotation for that function. Let's actually choose another drag another component that can use this annotation. So we're dragging here the controller, and in the controller you can change the name as we've seen. And if you hover over here at the three dots, and then you can at the add, you can see that REST controller, because this is already an pre-implemented REST controller. And here you can add and implement and extend or import. Similarly, you can add member variables by clicking here, and you can add a function by clicking here. And we were talking about the annotation on the component on the function level. So this is where you can add the annotation on the function level, is by clicking on the add sign right before the function name, and, for example, add post mapping, like so, and you can write down or type down the information that you have, any, for example. So here we have add post mapping for endpoint /any, and then you click OK, and this will be added to the project, to the function. And as you see here, if you put the cursor on top of it, it will show you what's inside it. And if there's nothing, then it hasn't been added yet. Right next to it, similarly, is the access modifier for the function. And here is the parameter. The first three dots between the two parentheses is the parameter that you have for the function. And the parameter can also have annotations. So the way we handle it here is by typing the annotation first, and, for example, path variable, like so, and this will add the parameter is a string name, for example. So this will be annotated with add path variable, and it's the type string, and the name is name. And if you click OK, then it will add it to the function parameters. You can add multiple functions, each in a different line, like so. For example, you can add path variable again, and then you can type int integer name. I'm sorry, integer age, for example. And this will have two parameters that come into that function, as you've seen here. Finally, is the logic for the function that you want to implement. Is you access it by clicking the three dots between the curly brackets as the function body. And here you can write English language, you can write Java, or you can write bit like mix between Java and English or any natural language and English. So here, for example, we say read a file, and then we give it the name of the file .txt, and print it to the screen. So this is will look for that file in the current directory, and if you give it the path, it will look for it on the path. For example, C. So this is will give it the path for it, and so this is how you can give instructions in the function body. The other thing is if you calling a function in a different class, then the way we do it is by importing the class. And the import concept here is different than the Java import. If you're calling any class from within a different class, you're gonna have to import it to the diagram builder. For example, let's call here, we have the class new name, and we want to call the function main in it. So what we do is we click new, and then it gives us the option, and then we click an object of it, and then we say equal new name, and this is added to the list of available classes within that class. So now if we type new name, then we have access to all the available member variables and functions within that class. So we select that. So the only thing here is you select from the available functions, so that it will be added to the available classes and functions within that class, so that when this information goes to the Codeyai engine, it knows exactly that you meant that class. And if you come here, as we imported this, you can see here that it's added automatically. New name class is added to the list of classes available for within the controller name. So this is how also you make between classes function calls and accessing member variables and so on. Again, we have here multiple options. As you see, package, custom component, and normal class, and then interface, and then inner class, and then service name, controller as we showed, and then configuration, entity, and repository, and enum. All the Spring Boot components are pre-annotated with the prospective annotation. For example, add controller is pre-annotated with address controller. The configuration, if we look at it, it will be also annotated with add configuration. And so the way you delete a component or a class is by highlighting it, and then on Windows you can click the delete button. On Mac you can click on Fn and then the backspace. The way you handle inner classes is by, if you want to create an inner class for a certain class, is by dragging it from the menu here, and then you have to drop it in the class that you want the inner class to be part of. If you drag it and drop it outside, it will not create it. You have to drag it and drop it within the class that you want the inner class to be part of. And when you want to delete a class that has inner class, you have to delete the inner class first. For example, if you try to delete the new name now, we will not be able to delete it because it has an inner class. The way you do it is you click on the inner class first, and then you delete the inner class, and then you can delete the class, the main class. For the custom component, it is like an IDE style of component. As you see here, this is most of these component is like more of UML components style, and this is, if you look at it, it's more of an IDE. So it has a pre-existing placeholders, for example, for class methods and so on. So for example, if you were to type the $sign here, it will show you the options that you have, and then you can say class, and then it shows you here it added a class with the main functions. You can delete from whatever is in there as if you do it with the IDE exactly. And you can also type here, for example, method, if you want to add a method, and then it will give you the option of method, and then you can edit this as you wish. For the function description, you can add it within the method. Like so, for example, as we showed before, we're going to write here, we're going to give this function a description, say read file dot text, and print it to the screen. Or you can similarly, you can add a statement that calls another function in a different class by importing the class, for example, new component name, controller name, and then you type dot. It will give you the options that's available for you in that component or that class. So, for example, this is a function to that um, to that uh, to that to that class function. And then you click OK, and it will be saved in here. As you see here, the method that we created is added here. Another way that you can actually handle the custom component, which is pretty useful, is let's say that you want to create something generic, like not specific, or are you're thinking of editing it in the IDE once you download it. So you can come here and give a comment, say create binary search class, and add and get functions from the tree. So this is another way you can do it. And if you want to give it the class name, because if we added this now, the class name will not change from the previous. But if you want to specify the class name, then the way you do it is by, let's copy this, and then you create a class and say this is the class, and you can delete this function here, and you can put your instructions here, and this is will give you the option of changing the class name to, let's say, new name. And if you do that, then it's going to show here new name. It does not show the functions or the member variable because it's not you did not literally added them. If you want to add member variables, then you have to add them like normal when you add member variables to an IDE. For example, int age. This is will create a member variable called age, and as you see here, the access modifier is default. If you were to edit this to make it public, then it will change it to public. Like so. So if you literally added a member variable or a function, it will be added. If you created a class name and give it a different name, it will change it from component name. I think the default is component name. Let's see. The default is component name. If you were to add it as you see here, $sign and class, and then you change it to my class, then you will see that this has the component will change to class name to my class, and then it will add also a main function in it, like so. So that's in regard to the component builder. I don't think I missed anything. Yes, the Codeyai assistant. This is like a chatbot that you can, if you wanna, for example, ask, or if you don't know how to do something and you wanna, get an AI assistant for it, then you can ask here. You see how to create a binary search tree, and you pretty much use it as an AI chatbot assistant. It will give you instructions on how to do it, and the part that's useful here is you can pretty much copy this. If you are actually, this is in Python, we have to specify that's in Java. So how to create a Java binary search tree in one class. So this means that we're trying to create an inner class that for the node. And so and I will show you that one way is you can copy this the given code, add it to a custom component, and that will create it for you as a placeholder. You can change it as we've seen. So for example, here, this is the code that's provided. You can copy this, and then you can create here, come on the my class. You can do not delete the package, because actually the package is where it will be added to the project in the package as the package suggests. So if we add this code here, so this is, you see here, we are adding all this code. You can go over this, you can delete it, you can add to it, or you can leave it as it is. So for example, int value, let's call it int age, and then we can change the like so. If you change this, for sure you will have to change the rest of the value. So if you search here for value, you can see all the values here, and you will have to change them as well. So you have to be careful not to change that one, but I'm leaving it for you. So this is just to show you that this is the way that you can use also the Codeyai chatbot and the custom component to build your project. So if you click here, then it will show you here. This is the member variables and the functions that you have in the class. Going back to other options available for you is the share. Let's actually talk about the edit first. The edit of the metadata, you click on that icon, that symbol, the edit symbol, and then it will take you back to the project metadata and dependency. Let's say that we want to add a new dependency here, say GPA, and then you click on it, then it adds it to the list of dependency, and then you click save. It will save it, and here you also click save, so it will add it to the dependency of that project on the POM XML. As we have seen here, we added it here right there. That's pretty much everything in regard to the component, the diagram builder. The other options that we have here is when you want to share a project on the public repository, or you want to share a project with a team or with yourself. Every project you create, it will be initially saved in your local memory, and if you clear the cache, the project will be deleted. So if you want to safeguard the project, you have to share it either publicly or in the team. And if you want to share it with yourself, you can click on team, and you can give the project name, project description, and tag, for example, like certain things that you can search for. And finally, you can add your email here. If you add your personal email only, and the email that you created, the Codeyai account that's related to the Codeyai account, it will be shared with the email. For example, let's say here, test, 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 and I gave it the email that I have here. And if I click now share, then this project is going to be shared with me only, and I can see that by coming here. Let's delete this project from here, and then we go to the team project, and you can see here the project list. If I click on it, I will open the project again as it was saved on the team. If you add other names or other emails to that project, it will add it to that project. For example, if I want to add another member for the test, then I can come here and I can add a member or delete a member or delete the entire project. And this is how you handle the team project. For the public project, your public project is here, my public projects, and this is where you can either delete a public project or I think the only option here is to delete it. So if you created a public project and you want to delete it, then you go to my public projects and then you delete it from there. Any public project is accessible to all members that is part of the Codeyai platform. The dependency will be automatically added to the keywords that you can search for. So that's one thing, and you can add other keyword as well. Like you see here, I added person database as a keyword, person DB. So when you are sharing a project, you can specify other keyword other than the dependency. Like so, you can come here and you can see here this tags is the keywords that I was talking about. So that's pretty much all what I have in mind about the diagram builder. With that, we concluded our session. We spoke about how to start a project in Codeyai and define the metadata and the dependencies, and then go to the diagram builder and convert your solution to a Codeyai diagrams, and how you can handle the class level definition, like add and annotations and extend and import, and how you can add and delete a member variable or class variable, and how can you add annotation to the class variable and change the scope and the type, and also how you can add functions to the class, and how you can add annotation to these functions and edit the scope and the name, and add parameters with annotation or without annotation, and finally how you can edit the return type, whether it's a custom type or primitive type. And finally is the logic for the function, how you can add instructions for Codeyai engine to implement your logic functions. And that's pretty much all what we've done today. And if you have any question, please don't hesitate to email me, support@codeyai.com, or you can reach me at LinkedIn. Thank you.